Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds of Legend. Sorry for our brief hiatus. We had lots of life stuff going on, and we have a world traveler with us right here, Brendan. I'm Ben, and then down low is Joel and Missy. And today, we're here to talk about the book. The book being And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
10 little... and then there were none.
Yep. So with that, we're not sure on what's going on with our D&D schedule because Will's having a little baby. So
there's only one baby.
All right. So there's Will's lady is having a baby. So
he can have a baby, but not my baby.
So we've got some time to. We told him to take however much time he needs. In the meantime, we'll figure out your content, but it might take us a little bit.
It will be nerd stuff and book talk. We know that for a fact.
Yes. So I guess that's it for announcements. We'll be back to your regular schedule here for these coming weeks, probably until the holidays start up again, and then life gets crazy pants. So, with that, Melissa, this was your pick. Would you like to give us your synopsis?
Yep. We did, and then there were none. So, in recent editions, it has been retooled to be a little less, racist. So we'll just put that out there, written in a different time, and sort of reconned a little bit to avoid some of it, not all of it, but neither here nor there. So it starts with, a rhyme about 10 little soldier boys, and each one of them dies in different ways until there were none. So it is... This is a book by Agatha Christie, published in the 1930s, and it's widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, mystery stories of all time. So I thought it would be a fun little spooky, light one to do for Halloween, because I know we need to make sure that Ben's delicate sensibilities are not, overstep those boundaries for you, bud. So... Okay.
I like how Ben, who is like now it's not just like any kind of adult interactions, it's anything. I see. Oh, the base, it was too dark. I see.
Yeah, I was realizing my face was like super washed out, so I needed some backlighting.
Is that what it was? You were terrified that you realized you were in an unlit basement?
With Benjamin afraid of the dark?
So it follows.
He's going to get me back.
Uh-oh.
So 10 people are called to this island. They're, given various reasons of why they should be there, and they're all called by this mysterious person that they're like, oh, I should probably know this person, but I don't, but I'm going to do it anyways. And they get to the island, and, it's gramophone or a record player, whatever it is, and they play this recording that tells all of their crimes. So all of them are, guilty of something. And
have committed a murder in some fashion.
Exactly. And so then, one by one, everyone is just sort of picked off until there were none.
Exactly.
So it was...
She said the thing.
There were none.
Yeah, we get the title of the book really early in this one. It happens right in the first passage. Doesn't usually happen that fast, but we got it. So with that, I guess we can talk about what everyone kind of thought. I enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. There were times where it was like, all of a sudden I realized, holy shit, the pace just like ratchets up, like there's like a murder in like the first chapter, but then it like slows down a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's just like
everyone just gets picked off. The last like 5, like the first 5 are like pretty slow. I mean, the first one is right away. But then the next few are like, you're like, what
Yeah.
And then it's like just goes from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
It's a very fast read.
Well, what's interesting is they figure out the whole mystery of it is that the people on the island are able to figure out, oh, hey, there's nobody else here, so this is someone like one of us is the killer. So then they all start getting really, really paranoid, and there were a couple times where I was like, why don't they just like all sleep in the room? In the same room or something, but at the end of the night they all keep going to their separate rooms, and I was like, one of you is gonna die again. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, in that, like, in the, like, the ominous part of, the figures on the table, and each time someone goes down, there's another one. So then they're like, oh shit. Like, even if they like count the figures and they're like, well, there's one less, someone's dead, or, after the fact, they're like, oh, it was gone. And so it was, it kept you guessing the whole time. I know, Brendan, you have some feelings about this one as your, favorite of all time.
Yeah, comparing it to, I guess, her second most well-known mystery, which is probably, it's going to be Poirot. It'd probably be Murder in the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Right? And if you look at Hercule Poirot, a lot of his stories are a lot more procedural. There's a lot more conversations and evidence gathering and that sort of thing. And then there were none as heavily stylized. It's very slick in its presentation. You sort of see that idea that do we want to go into spoilers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How old is this book?
Yeah.
Like, if they haven't got it by now,
for God's sake, this book was a Family Guy episode, so
this is true. But yeah, like Murder in the
pretty recent. Not many people know about it.
But yeah, Murder on the Orient Express, everyone on the train, except for Poirot, wants to kill the guy who died. And in this, everyone who's on the island is there because they crossed this guy for some reason, right? They're a piece of trash for something they've done.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of Wait Until Dark, if you've ever seen the movie or watched the play Wait Until Dark. All of these things need to fall into place in very particular, contrived ways for this to occur.
Right.
So all of these people have to be bad. They all have to be on the island. They all have to go to their rooms separately. There's little figurines. It's I prefer I guess.
Yeah, it was like everything had to go perfect. Like, how did it not just like turn into like a murder fest like earlier?
Yeah. The plausible deniability that a viewer has, like if you're in a movie theater, at some point you can look around you and go, "That's carpet on the walls. I'm in a theater. This isn't real."
Yeah.
Tarantino describes it as the umbilical between the observer and the story being portrayed. At some point, your brain, as long as you're going, "Hey, I'm invested in the story. I'm going to overlook some things." Yeah. That's the umbilical cord you have between the narrative and your deniability. And when there starts to get certain contrivances, and when they start building up, after a while you start going, like for example, like a musical.
Yeah.
My wife just died. I will sing for 10 minutes. It's like, to some extent, some people just can't get clicked onto that. I'll admit, the first time I read this, I was 13. I had to read it over the summer for my English class. And the teacher seemed to be more interested in the historical subcontext, the quality of the narrative, or just the name of Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
The dialogue between the characters is actually really well done. It's a very quick read. It's very I wouldn't I could say I dislike it as a mystery, but I wouldn't describe it as a mystery anymore. Mm-hmm. When I read this book, it's really more of like a revenge story.
Yeah.
I didn't get the fact that he was crossed. It sounded like the judge, like this is the one where the judge was like, I took it as the judge was like,
he's got a murder boner.
Take this opportunity.
Yeah.
I've always dreamed about killing people myself. He sent tons of people to, like, he was fascinated with killing, but he couldn't do it because he was a judge, like at the end, and which was still one of the weirdest things. Like the story came to a conclusion, and then you have these like letter tell-alls at the end of it, you know? And it was weird, but the judge is like, I'm a very moral person and I want to kill people.
Mm.
And the fact that he spent all this time hunting down these people, he's like, I feel they're guilty. I'm going to kill them all in this elaborate thing. Like, I love those kind of stories because they're nowhere near plausible. Like, I mean, it's like H.H. Holmes type stuff, you know? Like, I'm going to build a murder palace, which it did happen.
It's true.
But
It's true.
it's the kind where, like, this is the kind of story that is fun to listen to, but if someone would tell you they did it, you'd be like, no, you didn't. Like, I guarantee H.H. Holmes could have walked around Chicago and been like, I built a murder castle. And people are like, that's cute. You know, just like this story of the judge being like, let me tell you what I did. And it still had that air of like unbelievable because it's like planned to the nth degree that makes no sense. But it was enjoyable till at the very end, you actually think like, oh, she got away with it. She saved herself. You know, she shot him in the chest and find out the actual killer died like, 3 deaths ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Died 3 deaths ago. And
well, and like for the like paranoia, like, like they had the Pope, right? Like, like it wasn't like it was just this narrator that was there. Like, they're like the red herring thing. They're like, well, you had it there.
Yeah.
And you just like, and so it's this like, the paranoia, right? Of like, who is it is taking over the sense.
That's like,
yeah,
I think the one thing with the book is like all of the characters, basically every time there's a murder, they freak out for 5 minutes. And then they act like NPCs in a video game. And then, like, after 5 minutes, they go, must have been the wind, and then go back to what their normal routine. There's there's a lot of, like, stuff that they do that I'm like, why are you doing that?
because it's all gotta click. It's all gotta go together like clockwork.
Like, everything has to go perfectly, and then...
That was the one thing that... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but I'm not as well versed in this, but she is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had a number of talks. And around this time, it sounds like this is what, 1920s, 1930s? Like it's
published in 39.
Right. So it's like still that like make sure you present as a certain type of way that carry over from
stiff upper lip,
the Victorian way of doing things. Like above all, be proper. Like men act a certain way, women act a certain way, and at no point is anybody acceptable to run around and hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Like that woman. Well, I suck with remembering the names, but like. She was starting to freak out, and the doctor just backhands her. He's like, whoosh, we don't have time for that silliness. Mm-hmm. No, if I'm in a place and somebody gets killed, and I mean, like, I believe this was, like, it was the Playboy, like, he had been poisoned, and then the lady woke up the next morning, and she freaked out. The next lady freaked out. So, it's to that point where they didn't even want to entertain it. Like, I'm freaking out at this point in time. If we all go hang out someplace for a weekend and somebody spontaneously poisons themselves and then another lady dies in her sleep, I'm going to be like, I'm going to freak out and be out of this place. Like, fuck that. There is no calm demeanor that I'm going to
fuck that. I'm swimming.
Right. Like, it can't be that bad. But every time that they thought they figured it out or they get a hold of it, somebody else would die. And then when they're like, we've got it, it's Armstrong. Armstrong is the one that killed everybody, and then he swam for it. He escaped. And then they find him dead on the beach, like all swollen with seawater. And then they're like, what else is going on?
Right.
The slow unraveling of the characters was wonderful. Like, I thought that was well done. Because, like, you feel... Even though it's a short read, you feel that you're on that journey with them. Like, you feel the paranoia. You feel the, like, oh, God, what the hell is happening?
Would any of you feel, after reading this, that
we should commit a murder? No. I'm not going to say that out loud, but...
Do we want to not talk about that on Twitch we're going to do it?
No. We talked about it being banned. Hey, sorry, Ben.
I could murder a burrito right now. I'll be honest.
Right, I want some cheese fries. That's just saying.
Did you feel at any point?
You were the one that said cheesy pretzels, and now I'm like, that sounds like an awesome idea.
I think with most mysteries, you as a reader want to discover along with the protagonist.
Yeah.
And you want to solve the murder, and most importantly, you're usually a moral person.
Yeah.
Like if you want to solve it because you want justice to be done. I felt
you read Sherlock Holmes because you want to figure it out like before Sherlock tells you, you know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
there wasn't a protagonist,
Mhm.
right?
That's the thing.
Like,
Well, that's the other thing with this story, Missy.
That's the thing is everybody was like kind of not likable.
Everyone was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like at some point,
Oh yeah, when that guy,
are we to delight in the fact that these characters are dying?
Yeah.
when that guy, the one that was poisoned, was like, it was just 2 kids I ran over, and he died. You're like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know.
So my question is to you. That's why I don't think this is a mystery. Do you think Agatha wants us to enjoy watching them squirm and watching them die?
Yeah, it's almost like a thriller.
Loud.
It's almost like a thriller. Yeah.
Yeah, like a spectacle game.
Yeah.
Like
like Squid Game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
what is it? What was
watch
another book? The Greatest Hunt, or the most dangerous game.
Most dangerous game.
Yeah, where the guy, where you watch
Christie,
the
though,
guy not die, which is, that's the whole game. That's the whole thing. Is like you keep thinking who's gonna. And I found myself near the end, like placing bets because I've heard the story, I've seen the play, and like, but I didn't remember. Like I knew one of them made it, but it's still the journey was fun.
I think it's less of like, I don't know that I want to like root for them, but I think it's more of a commentary of what is justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have this judge who literally his job is to make people like to weigh, to pronounce judgment.
And he's like he's someone who's tired of seeing people go free that he's bound to by the law to not let go free, you know.
Yeah. But but he's his hands are roughly clean until now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but is the quest for justice, is that mad, right? Like, did that drive him mad such that he felt like he needed to, be that judge and jury and sentence and, everything all in one? Like, is that justice or is it murder?
Yeah.
It makes it.
It's also fun, like, getting to the end and realizing that, like, the person that was like, it appears that one of us is the killer, and none of us are able to be removed.
Did everyone listen to it unscribed?
I did. The voice actor was so good.
That's exactly what I thought. He really
was Dan Stevens, and he was nephew on Downton Abbey.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just like,
it was so like hearing Ben do the judge's voice, like that one sold the book. Like
it's the first time he said something, I'm like, yes. And
it was so good. It was
we find that we have reached a point where we must realize one thing, and that is none of us are above suspicion. And you're
it was so fun.
And then you find out at the end that he's just a fucking asshole that was just like playing everybody against each other. Even got someone to like side with him.
The big clue that reveals who done it is essentially, if you look at it narratively, is basically impossible for the reader to deduce until it's explained.
Yeah.
So
which is why, like, it's wildly regarded as the best, right? Because you can't, like, your mind, like, is going along trying to be like, oh, who is it? It's this person. It's this. Like, part of me was thinking it was, like, it was going to be one of the women just because, like, like, at that time.
Because poison was used so often, and it's, like, the least likely.
Yeah.
Even the scene at the very end where she's holding the gun and the guy's like, she's a woman. I'll outman her with my, I'll
be able to get to her. Yeah.
Because, I'll speak in a stern voice and she'll be like, oh, my bad, here's the gun. Like, Really, like
he basically like shook his finger at her and was like, "No."
Yeah, I half expect her to be like, "Woman, put that down," and she didn't, and she killed him, and you're like, "Oh."
But she it was almost it was an accident though. Like she did, she shot at him, but she didn't really it also took some of that blame away. Like it was like
as a woman, I couldn't have done this myself. If he wasn't lunging, I wouldn't have been spooked. And so
but I do I've never maybe I read it before I don't remember, but I don't remember reading it. I don't think I've seen anything. So going into it, when you see the visual adaptations of it, is there something that some sort of sign in some of those where you have when you're watching it you can have that staging, whereas this there wasn't that misdirection until you reflect back on it and you're like, oh,
the difference is other media,
you're like, oh, of course.
The difference is I feel like other media that has done this thing, I mentioned Family Guy did and then There Were None episode. The difference for that one is it's told with Family Guy characters, and there's I think that that's the difference with this one is none of these people know each other, so none of them have a motive.
Yeah.
But with the Family Guy one, it was the opposite. Everybody's got a motive, and everybody's got so it's figuring out who's got the motive to kill everyone as opposed to just the
well, and the hubris of the wealthy or whatever, to be oh, Mr. Owens, I probably know this person. I better get to the island. And you're I wouldn't even answer that for half the people I actually know.
Right?
I calling me to an island. I'd be I need a background check. Who are you? What is this?
It's who are these people that are just accept a invitation to go to a random island just because
there are people that get murdered on a murder weekend. That's obviously the kind of people that they are.
And look, this is in the 30s. If this were modern day, every one of these people clicked on it. Hello, my friend. I am a Nigerian prince, and I need help moving gold bullion. And every single one of them.
Yeah. You're right.
They clicked on the email.
Well, that was the other thing. The judge.
Dumb knows no age.
Dumb is timeless.
Dumb is timeless.
That was the other fun thing with the judge was because he basically looked into them so much that he was able to figure out what lever can I pull to get every single person there. So it's he can bribe the soldier dude. He can he can convince the detective that there's something that he needs to, or he can convince the PI that there's something that he needs to look into. I can't remember there's a couple different ones. The one lady who's she was convinced because the letter was purportedly from one of her church lady friends. So it was just funny because he was able to pull the correct he stalked these people so much that he was able to know exactly what to do to motivate them to get them there.
Right.
It wasn't just receives mysterious invitation. It was more than that.
Yeah. It was very string pulling mastermind. I mean, it was very well done. You can see why why it has necessarily, stood the test of time as one of the very best.
Honestly, it's up until the end, I was there's got to be some secret passageway that this dude's hiding in. I that's what I thought was going to happen, and obviously that's not what happened. But that entire time, you think there's oh, this is how is this? This is an old house. It's got to have secret passageways and shit everywhere, and that's how he's doing everything. But
yeah, I thought it was one of them, but I didn't that had died. But I didn't. I thought it was going to be the first one.
Oh.
Like, for some reason, like, I just thought it was going to end where it started.
Right. Oh, yeah, like back to the beginning or whatever.
The construct of the narrative is slick, well designed.
Mm-hmm.
Individual characters, I mean, they're designed to be unlikable, and there's also a point where they start falling like flies, right? Mm-hmm. And the judge, you could argue that at some point the judge taking his job of enforcing the law in society to the nth degree, but in reality, the dude had to be lawful good for so long. He's like cracked and was like, you know what? I want to kill some people. So it's
he's like, I'm about to, like, I've got a terminal illness. Why do I have to die when all these other fucks get to keep living?
Right. Yeah, and that was the beef. That was the seed that was planted. But at some point, it's like, are you really just, trying to go out like Frank Castle, or do you really just want to see people die? And so, if you're looking for characters,
it was both, though.
Yeah. But I mean, like, which one was the stronger motivation? Right. And so,
well, I think it was almost like wants to kill things part, because I'm pretty sure in his note he talked about like killing small animals when he was a child.
Right. And so you're like, likable characters? I don't know. And it's like, memorable characters? It's really the way people died and the structure of the story that's memorable. And I remember being 13, and at the end, she's the only one left, and he's on the ground and everything. And I remember thinking, she looks off stage, right, breaks the fourth wall, and the guy's like, and then there were none, remember? The noose, get in the fucking noose, get in the noose. And she's like, it's like, it just felt so artificial to me, like, I must continue the narrative.
Yeah.
See, that's where I was like, did we just cross into like a metaphysical like thriller, where she's like, in some unseen force, draw me in there.
Well, that's what he even said. See, that's what he even said. He's like, he pretty much said, I thought I was going to have to still finish her off, but then, like, somehow, by providence, I must have hypnotically, psychological, like, implantation, hypnoplantation or whatever.
I mean, at that point, she was so broken.
Right?
Like, she was just,
she's like, I want to go out on my terms, like, terms, sort of.
It's because of the involvement in the, sorry.
Well, there's not really a ton of like similarities outside of just the island, but like I know Brendan, you saw this Shutter Island. Like it reminded me,
Daisy. Yeah,
it reminded me like that sort of like off the place, and then you're compelled to have this, and then it's cyclical in nature, right? Because of the twist or whatever. Like you kind of go back and forth, like, and that's what it felt like almost to me, that it was just like going to always reach that place.
Yeah. And it's almost like you get like her motivation, because it's almost like, well, no one's ever going to believe me that I didn't kill all of these people, Yeah. She's stuck, It's like no one's going to believe her. They show up and her fingerprints are on the gun. Like, what's she going to say? Like 10 people went on the island. She's the only one left. Like, it's like, it wasn't me, I swear.
I'm a woman. I can't.
Okay, it's not what it looks like.
Also, like, how were they going to get off the island? Like, there was no end. Like, it was either like I'm sure there was food, water, things to keep her up into a certain point, but no one was coming. The boats weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, so what? There was no end.
Yeah, because they waited another it was another 2 days before like the boat guy came back, right?
But she had said that she was okay with being by herself for this amount of time. She was safe. She kept saying it. The thing that got me is that that poem. They were like immersed in that poem.
Yeah.
Like everything was set up to where they lived.
Well, it becomes this thing. Poem. Yeah, it becomes this thing because you're like, oh well,
At the end, it's like she walks into the room.
Sees the noose.
And there's a noose, and she keeps thinking, and then there were none, He hung himself, and then there were none. So, like, it was this thing that had to happen.
That psychological thriller, right?
That's what I think.
That's why I say I agree with Brendan. It's not necessarily mystery. It is more of a... Because, like, the whole point of, like, reading a mystery novel is you get the payoff at the end. You get the payoff of somebody killing, like, of like finding out who done it or whatever.
My dog just walked up and stole my socks.
Candlestick.
Oh.
Wait, what happened?
The dog just walk up and took my socks.
Like off your feet or what?
No, I took them off and put them on a chair.
Oh.
And he just like
Brennan
up and like takes it and runs.
Yeah, Brendan knows about dogs and socks.
Yeah, we can't leave those on the ground in this house.
Yeah.
Killing will hoover those right up.
But yeah, that's the thing is like with like the point of like a mystery, like when you're like reading a mystery or like watching a mystery show, is like you get the payoff at the end of like, oh, this is the killer, this is how they did it. And like that's like even Columbo, where like you always know who the murderer is in a Columbo show. It's like, how does Columbo get there, and how is Columbo going to trick them into like basically revealing that they're the killer? You know.
Oh, and one more thing.
You know, my wife. It's like there's something that's been bothering me. Anyway, Joel doesn't share our love of Columbo, but so I was like, that's what almost makes this more of a thriller, because it's like, or a horror movie to a certain extent, because it's like, all right, who's gonna die next? Like in a horror movie, it's like, who's gonna die next? Who's gonna survive? Like, who's doing it? Or, you know, you're like, it's like if you're watching, you know, Scream or whatever, you're like, who's the guy with the knife or whatever, and you know, you're trying to
yeah. This one, you didn't even have like an unnamed. The killer was an unnamed thing up until the very end.
Yeah, it was almost like a paranormal force going on.
Yeah, it felt paranormal. And honestly, I agree with Ben. Ben and I talked about it was better without the judge's letter.
I almost wish that they didn't give us the payoff. Like they didn't tell us who did it. It was like, nope. Like just end it with the police investigation of like, I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool. Yeah.
If the judge wouldn't have written the letter, then it would have made the whole thing a little bit better.
If Agatha wrote this in modern times, she wouldn't have given the payoff, and she would have just been like, "Now come to my convention and find out who did it."
Yeah. Check out Volume 2, where I talk about maybe
secret exclusive printing. You were get the judge.
Yeah, but like
ways of getting you to.
But I also get why she did, because otherwise you're just like faced with this like you know, you'd almost be mad, like simultaneously you're like, oh man, I wish they didn't spoil it, but on the other hand you're like, oh thank God, I was getting pissed off because I couldn't figure it out, you know. Yeah. Like
how often do you think the killer is a guy that got shot in the head 2 murders prior to
4 murders ago? Like,
yeah, who's the killer? I bet it's that guy that got shot in the face 2 murders ago. You know, like usually getting killed takes you out of the running of being the possible murderer.
Honestly, that's like the one thing is like with how he did that, got the doctor to like help him. It was like, if you think about it, all he would have had to do is like, listen, all these people are getting poisoned. These people, they're animals. They're going to think it's you. We got to like find out who this killer is. You know, like, I know it's not you, but you know what I mean? Like, that's all he has to do, because, you know, the doctor's like, I swear it wasn't me. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, God, but it's not me.
Yeah, I will say.
She wants us to know it's not her either.
It's not her either.
Yeah, Elizabeth didn't commit any murders.
No, not Elizabeth. The only thing we murder on this podcast is copious amounts of food.
I'd like to murder more food. You want to eat?
Well, it's interesting because you can almost like you know, the judge had like figured out the first one. Like he knew someone. He knew he was going to have a chance to like poison somebody's like wine at dinner or whatever.
Right.
But like, what happens?
Wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Like there was
But how did he plan out like the rest of it? Like how did it was like, what did he just go in there and like, I'll just like fly by the seat of my pants and figure it out, or like how meticulously planned was every single one of these murders?
So at the end, he said like the one, like he had an order in mind.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it was something like the ones who I forget what it was, but he planned it. Like, it wasn't random.
Yeah, it was meticulously planned.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the things, like...
Well, because wasn't there one where it's like... Wasn't there one where he's like, well, I didn't even mean for it to happen this way, but it's funny that there was that bee there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, well, that worked
and all
out.
I kept thinking was the bee in the Doctor Who episode
Yeah.
of Agatha Christie. It was like killer bees. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. The giant space bees.
There are some episodes... I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, but there are some episodes that I gotta wash my hands from.
Space whales.
No, fuck you. The space whales are awesome. The
That was a
farting
good episode.
pudding, stupid.
Yeah.
Star Trek 4? What? Space whales? What?
Yeah,
Oh, we're
see?
talking about Star Trek 4.
Star Trek 4. Star Trek 4.
No, those are regular whales. Take it through time.
Yeah.
I can't with you.
A regular whale.
We're joining Nerds of Legend. Fuck everybody. That
No, we were talking about the Titanic 3 or whatever that was able to that was a spaceship for some reason. In order to be powered, it had to like have a whale imprisoned in it.
No, yeah.
Star Trek 4 though, they're regular whales. They go on the Klingon bird of prey. They become space whales because they're transported through space.
I hate you so much, Brendan. Right now, I hate.
That was my favorite Star Trek movie. I'm just going to point that out there.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
I watched that one like a lot when I was a kid. It was just so much fun when they like went back to 1990 or whatever.
How much you've lost.
Oh, we just lost Missy. We gotta bring it back. We gotta bring it back. Talk about Doctor Who real quick.
Yeah, she's now looking at 90 Day Fiancé shit.
No.
You lost me.
All right. Yeah.
Like Taylor
you ruined
Swift.
me,
Come on
Misty.
back. What? Hello.
I feel like we all kind of like the Judge a little bit, but what was everyone's kind of like favorite character that you're almost like, you know, they're all gonna die, but like, who are you like? Come on, figure it out.
I liked the Judge, the Doctor, and then the Detective because, like,
yeah.
The Judge, just because the voice made it so, like, he was so above reproach the whole time, and you're just like, you're the killer? That was crazy. But
like, every time someone dies, he's just already there sitting in his chair like, it seems that we have a problem.
Yeah. But then you go into, like, the Doctor and the Detective, like, their shit kept getting stolen. Like, I had a revolver. Oh, God, it's missing. Blam, blam, blam. A bunch of people are shot. I found it in my drawer. Like, taking the journey with them of, like, all of his medicines are gone and everybody's getting poisoned. Everybody's getting overdosed. And he's just like, it's not me for real. Like, you felt with it. You felt for them a little bit. And then the detective just losing his gun and, like, being as guilty.
No, it's the soldier.
He came in being like, I'm here to investigate a murder.
I thought it was the soldier lost his gun.
Whatever. I think both of them did.
No, I think there's just one gun.
There's a lot of guns.
What was interesting with that one was like, oh, they're just natives, and then like the old lady.
God, that guy was great when he died.
The old lady that like she's like that like basically looks at Vera and was like, "We are all equal in the eyes of God, child." And you're like, "Okay, I like this bitch."
Yeah, but she's the one that killed the person because she was
there's also that. Like she was also
she
like
somebody because she floozed around.
Yeah, she kicked her out or whatever and shamed her, and then
yeah.
We do not slut shame.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough.
But yeah, so like she has that moment, but then on the other hand, she's like, no, unforgivable. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Kath, like she's Anglican. She would have been Anglican, so she would have like not believed in forgiveness or whatever.
So what you're saying is you're like, this rings too close to home.
Yeah, I was like,
what's her name? Mother-in-law? Terrible.
This is the country where it's isn't it Reverend Green instead of Mr. Green in Clue?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, except Clue had Tim Curry, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we've exhausted. I think it might be mine. It's either mine or Brendan's, but I think we skipped Brendan because he decided to be gone.
I think it's Brendan's pick.
I think
I did.
Or stuffed by the were turkey.
Is that erotic? Because it sounds like it.
So you missed it because you were gone, but we were talking about doing a Nerds of Legend After Dark, where we read horrible erotica from Scribed, such as Stuffed by the Were-Turkey. And
yes, that was
what's that one? What are those ones you used to send me? Like reamed by the T-Rex one.
Oh my!
Reamed by the raptors or whatever. Or
the ripping and the tearing.
So we could do that at some point. We were talking about doing like a bonus episode or whatever, where we just talk about we find bad erotica.
Listen to the synopsis of the story. Hold on to your cranberries and watch out for spilled gravy. Josette is an animal rights activist that saves an ordinary turkey on Thanksgiving. But is there something more to this strange bird? That's
fucking.
It's 13 pages, Brendan.
Of bird dicking fun.
13 pages.
Yes. Shape shift. Oh, there's a dollar. This got a wow, I thought this was a price. It was so low.
No.
This got a 1.95 on Goodreads. It's a fucking doozy.
Okay.
So we can do that as a side episode, but I would.
But we have to pick. We each have to pick one, so that requires planning. So we will defer to your choice.
I feel that's going to be a blast.
So I've got one, but if you've got something, Brennan, we can go with you.
I had a pick, but it might be contentious. It's like a mindfuck horror story. It's like
is it going to be too scary for Ben?
It is spooky season.
It's not like slasher.
No, Ben can handle it. It's R.L. Stein's Goosebumps.
You guys. Why is it that I've become like this?
Baby beer.
You are so pleased with yourself.
I like how we've gone from Ben doesn't like and then he sheathed himself inside her as imagery to Ben can't handle any form of sex content, and to Ben can. I'm going to find something that you're going to hate, and you're going to have to read it.
You've already done that.
I'm really glad
I'm just going to do it again.
These realizations about yourself. It shows a lot of growth to acknowledge these shortcomings and just embrace them. So I'm proud of you.
I had a mindfuck.
What is it?
It's called House of Leaves.
Oh,
we've talked about that before, but it's hard.
Wait, that's like almost impossible to read by audiobook.
Yeah,
that's it.
And it's long.
Yeah, you have to rotate the book to read it.
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
I have it. It's downstairs.
We talked about it.
Yeah, I also own it.
I'm really excited to, but it won't translate to audiobook.
Okay.
Which is like the way that we're able to like read it and have full-time jobs and get it done in 2 weeks.
Outside of work.
But if we were to do that one, we would need a lot of time because it's long, right?
Yeah. Okay, my love of super cheap paperbacks. There's a Del Rey
Forgotten
Realms D&D book called Descent into Undermountain, I think.
Oh. Okay. Is it a Salvatore?
No, it's not. It's one of those where I was like, oh, here we go, this will suck. And then I was like, wait a second, this is really, really good.
Descent into Undermountain?
Let me see. Let me find the book.
Del Rey was some of the best fantasy. They were wonderful for that. And good sci-fi.
Undermount or Undermountain?
We're gonna figure this
Undermountain.
out. Escape from Undermountain. This was a book that reminded me of like a fantasy Casablanca, where it reminded me of Planescape Torment, if you've ever heard of that game. It just had a very memorable cast. All of the characters are very unique and well written. And for a throwaway paperback that's in the middle of a series that was sold for $5, it has always stayed with me. Like the progression of the story and the characters in it. So it's a little
Mark Anthony.
Little adventure romp.
Yeah, it's on Audible.
Did you say it was a Forgotten Realms book?
Yes.
So apparently it's book 3. Does that matter? I assume these are kind of like... these are written in a time where there's no continuity. We don't care.
They're serialized.
Yeah.
They're not serialized.
It's like, this is the 3rd book this guy wrote. It's not like...
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's completely standalone.
To rescue a missing noble, Artek the Knife must venture deep into the Undermountain, a vast and lethal labyrinth created by a crazed wizard. A place that is not only difficult and dangerous to access, but nearly impossible to escape.
This is literally from the Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could probably crush it in 3 hours. So it's a lovely little book. I was like 13, bike home from the library, grabbed a bunch of these, and this one it always stuck with me.
It's an 8-hour book. Yep, 8-hour audiobook. Yeah. All right, I'll just keep in mind what I was going to pick for next time.
Wait,
so.
Do I get to say? Can I pick between them?
Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Oh, sure. If you like, or do you think you're not going to like this one, Missy? Is that what it is?
Oh, look at that!
You lost me at Artek the Knife.
Artek.
Oh.
It's just like some Conan-looking dude. It's fine.
If you're gonna,
he's got a big. He's a 100-year-old Terry that bangs teens. How's that?
I
got you back in.
If Missy has veto power,
no, I don't.
Okay, because if you do, it better have some bumping uglies in it.
Oh, I was gonna say Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett because it's the Witch series of Terry Pratchett, and I think that Missy wasn't a huge fan of Color of Magic, but I think that she would like Equal Rights a little bit better.
She cannot get past the turtle.
Yeah, it's just the turtle.
She doesn't give a shit about
the turtle is not really mentioned in Equal Rights, from what I can remember.
She makes it it's the turtle. The paragraph that mentions the turtle is like an impenetrable wall for Melissa.
Well, the whole thing with Color of Magic is they go over the side of the world and see the great space turtle. So that's the problem with that one. Girl. Yeah, it's like the other series don't deal with the space turtle as much. Even though I have him branded on my arm, but
I plan on putting the tattoo of the turtle on me as well, but not today.
All right, so I think we're going to go with...
What do you think the greater two-in was? That's the turtle.
The turtle is I think we need to go to another...
No, space turtle.
Peace out.
It's like I think we need to go somewhere else, guys. We'll do that one. So again, that is Escape from Undermountain by Mark Anthony. So,
and we're gonna start with spooky erotica this Monday instead of cryptids. Perfect.
I mean, yeah, we could do weird. We could do that one at any time. So,
honestly, like those are so dumb. But all right, thank you.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that, or we'll do some cryptids or ghosts or something next week because it is still spooky season. Yeah. So,
I have to rotate to this. We have a lot of British viewers. I don't want to go the other way with the 2 fingers.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you again on Monday. Monday, maybe, or Tuesday. One of the 2 days. We'll figure it out. We've had a lot going on, so scheduling has been rough. But we'll see you guys again next week. And hopefully, depending on Will's news, we'll be able to continue our D&D campaign. But we'll see what's going on with that. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
2 weeks from the day before Halloween.